Hi, this is Kent, and welcome to my YouTube channel, which focuses on classical ballet. Most of my recent videos feature clips of dance segments with my voiceover, explaining important technical details. My last video was on the movie White Nights, with dance legends Mikhail Baryshnikov and Gregory Hines. This video differed from my other videos. The voice was not mine. Well, whose voice was it? Stay tuned and I will explain. The voiceover from my last video was AI-generated, artificial intelligence, cloned from my voice using software from 11 Labs, a New York City company that started in 2022. The software specializes in natural-sounding speech synthesis and text-to-speech software using AI and deep learning. I don't know what any of that means, but I do like the output, and will probably use the software going forward. The output generated by 11 Labs is natural sounding, but it does have limitations that I will discuss in this video. I love making videos, but my least favorite part is doing the voiceovers. It is a time-consuming process. I make the videos huddled over a microphone with a blanket over my head to muffle echo as I read from my phone. I then process the audio, which takes several days. In the voice category, I'm no Ronald Reagan or Charlton Heston, so my end voice product was typically uneven. The 11 Labs tool enables me to have a better, more consistent voice product and saves substantial time. Disclosure, I do not have any financial or personal interest in 11 Labs. First, let's look at the 11 Labs tool and features. The interface is very simple with limited options. It is very easy to use. This is the interface with 8 pre-made voices to choose from in the free version. To use, simply add text at the bottom. Let's see what pre-made Adam sounds like. Hit the Generate button, and very quickly, Adam recites the text.
This is a pre-made voice from 11 Labs text-to-speech software using artificial intelligence and deep learning.
And now Bella.
This is a pre-made voice from 11 Labs text-to-speech software using artificial intelligence and deep learning.
Both voices sound natural, something you would hear from a paid educational product. The only levers the user controls are sliders for stability and clarity. Moving the stability slider to the left can make speech more expressive with output varying with each regeneration. It also says that moving to the left can lead to instabilities. I think this means different sounding output from one generation to another. Moving the slider to the right leads to more consistent speech between regenerations, but more monotone speech. On clarity, it says that moving the slider to the left can lead to background artifacts in the generated speech. I think artifacts are background noise. I had some issues with something that sounded like wind. Moving the slider to the right boosts clarity, but high values can also lead to artifacts. As I will show, there are several segments in my voice clips that had background noise. There's a history tab that provides all of the conversions, with the download tab that produces an audio file. The big benefit of the paid version is the ability to clone voices. Here are the various plans. I'm on the starter plan, which is $5 per month. That allows for up to 10 custom voices and 30,000 characters per month, which is more than enough for my channel. There are other plans for users with larger demands. The paid plans also allow for the creation of random voices using voice design, a feature I have not used. Cloning a voice in 11 Labs is very simple. Just upload one or more files of the target voice. The process to clone the voice takes only a few minutes. I used 2 of my previous voiceovers for my samples for a total of 15 minutes. The cloning works best for US English accents. Note that the user must check a box confirming that the user has rights and consents to upload and clone the voice samples. I can see a lot of abuse, as the only thing that separates cloning a voice of a prominent person is a checked box. Not an issue for me, as this really is my voice. I inputted all of my White Nights text into 11 Labs, and the AI-generated voiceover was ready in only a few minutes. From the History tab, I downloaded to an audio file. Here I imported the 11 Labs file to Audacity, a great and free open-source digital audio editor. Audacity can be used for post-processing of all types of audio. Unlike 11 Labs, Audacity has many features. Fortunately, there are substantial educational resources on Audacity on YouTube. I think 11 Labs does a good job at mimicking my voice. Here's an example. The theme of the Reagan-era movie is the lack of freedom in the Soviet Union and the extraordinary effort people made to escape the repressive regime. I fooled my wife, daughter, and several friends who did not detect that the voice was not mine. My AI voice sounds fine, natural, not strained. I hate to admit it, but I think AI Kent has better voiceovers than the real Kent. An important point is that the voice is consistent from run to run, which gives the ability to swap portions in. Here I ran the first sentences generated in February and in early April. they are very similar.
Seeking artistic freedom, Mikhail Baryshnikov defected from the Soviet Union while the Bolshoi Ballet was on tour in Toronto in 1974 when he was 26. Seeking artistic freedom, Mikhail Baryshnikov defected from the Soviet Union while the Bolshoi Ballet was on tour in Toronto in 1974 when he was 26.
This is a great feature because many times I want to add additional information to a voiceover. With my previous method of using my voice, the various clips done on several days had a different sound. Maybe it is the natural variations in a person's voice from day to day, weather conditions, humidity, who knows. The bottom line is that the voice generated from 11 Labs is very consistent, facilitating post-production additions and changes. My concern was that the tool would produce monotone voice that sounded like it was generated from a computer. However, my clone voice had some passion and emotion in several sections.
What a contrast with the Soviet era as Russian dancers became a staple for U.S. companies with a steady flow of stars and Russian tours to the West. White Nights features thrilling dance segments. By that standard, White Nights is a winner.
On processing my real voice, I use several Audacity tools, such as bass and treble boosting in the filter curve EQ effect, normalize and compressor effects, all explained in numerous YouTube videos. With 11 Labs, the voice sounds fine, and I did not use any of these tools, which saves time. It is interesting that at times the AI Kent voice has a breathing sound. I guess AI Kent needs air sometimes.
Profiled previously. This video focuses on his second Gregory Hines. He again played a Soviet.
I think artifacts that 11 Labs refers to are unwanted noises. In my voice clips, these sounded like a hum or a wind sound, which happened in several places. Here is the subtle humming sound.
Union. The theme of
Here is the more noticeable wind-type noise.
2003 winner. Write your thoughts on White Nights. Would love to hear your
I tried moving the stability and clarity sliders to minimize these sounds with varying degrees of success. As I continue to work with the tool, I will experiment with the sliders to reconcile the unwanted noise. Audacity has tools to mitigate noise. First is a noise reduction effect, where the user specifies a segment with noise and denoises the entire segment based on the sample. This was successful in eliminating some modest noise. Second, the user can silence selected audio, and I use that in a number of segments to eliminate substantial remaining noise. With these Audacity tools, I was able to at least mitigate these sounds.
In one segment, the generator jammed together words, sounding like a run-on sentence. I made adjustments by manually adding spaces in Audacity. He and his Russian-born wife, Daria, Isabella Rossellini, daughter of Indrid Bergman and Roberto Rossellini. He and his Russian-born wife, Daria, Isabella Rossellini, daughter of Indrid Bergman and Roberto Rossellini.
My concern on using 11 Labs was that it would not handle names uncommon in English-speaking countries, such as Russian or French names. 11 Labs did a good job of pronouncing Russian names, like Soviet leaders, although I would pronounce Andropov a bit differently.
Leonid Brezhnev, the Soviet leader who replaced Nikita Khrushchev in 1964, died in 1982 at the age of 75 and was replaced by Yuri Andropov, former head of the KGB known for brutal crackdowns. Andropov died in 1984 and was replaced by 72-year-old Konstantin Chernenko, a Communist Party administrator, an apparatchik who previously signed hundreds of party documents daily for 20 years. The Soviet Union dissolved in 1991 after the younger, dynamic Mikhail Gorbachev took over in 1986.
11 Labs was on the mark on Ivan Drago, the villain in Rocky IV, with a Russian pronunciation of Ivan rather than the English pronunciation of Ivan, and Drago rather than Drago,
who was killed in a boxing match with Ivan Drago.
One more example, French choreographer Roland Petit. 11 Labs pronounced it with the proper French pronunciation rather than the English Roland Petit. In other cases, I had to spell the name or phrase phonetically to get the pronunciation close to the mark. Dance star Natalia Makarova is an example. 11 Labs pronounced Makarova with the accent on the wrong syllable, Makarova. To get it right, I had to introduce a new spelling and dashes. On Jerzy Skolomovsky's name, it was on the mark with Skolomovsky, but missed Jerzy. In the text, I spelled it Jerzy, not perfect, but somewhat close to the Polish pronunciation. One more example, the French ballet Le Jeune Homme et la Mort. I tried a number of alternatives. The best was this spelling.
Roland Petit work, Le Jeune Homme et la Mort, The Young Man and Death.
Not perfect French, but I hope it is passable. Not much different from the Google pronunciation.
Le jeune homme et la mort.
I could generally get non-English pronunciation close, except for the ballet term retiré, which is a position of the foot to the knee. I tried a number of alternatives but couldn't come close. This is a concern for me for future videos, as ballet terms are generally in French. It would be great if such voice tools would allow for different languages. I found out about 11 Labs on YouTube on an AI channel. I didn't think I would use the product, but it turned out so well that I used it in my posted version. The generated voice is similar to mine, sounded better, less strained in some places, and saved me a lot of time. My perspective is as a low-budget YouTuber. I wonder if such tools will catch on quickly for more widely distributed professional products. Probably so, given the great rate of technological advances that will likely be in store in the near future. The advance of AI technology into the mainstream has been breathtaking. I first heard of ChatGPT in November when my colleague used it to parody a serious public announcement dressed up in Shakespearean verbiage. Previously, my only other direct exposure to AI was chess engines, which long ago surpassed humans. The advancement of AI reminds me of the rapid technological advance for personal computers in the early 1980s. Before then, I knew that computers existed and were used by large organizations like IBM and NASA, but they did not have popular appeal. I knew someone in the late 1970s with a Radio Shack Tandy computer, I think. He developed an elaborate program to add numbers. I was not impressed. However, by the early 1980s, IBM and Apple came out with consumer-friendly computers, accessible to the public. Importantly, developers came out with useful software. My 1984 IBM knockoff Gold Star computer, equipped with WordPerfect and Lotus 123, allowed me to gleefully toss my electric typewriter in the trash. In the 1990s, CompuServe, Prodigy, and AOL allowed consumers to access countless information sources through the internet with a dial-up modem. AI development is similar to personal computers. Few people in the general public were talking about AI in October of 2022. But 6 months later, an industry group issued an open letter urging a pause in its development. School children with no interest in the topic suddenly became interested in AI as a tool for doing their term papers, and I am using it for my voiceovers. I am new to artificial intelligence tools, so please leave comments on your experience and helpful tips. Thanks for tuning in.